Welcome to KOTA Now's first sip. I hope you guys are having a wonderful morning here in KOTA territory, even if it is a little bit cloudy. I'm Humberto Giles Sanchez.
And I'm Kate Robinson.
Well, you know what? It's been a good week, even though it has been kind of iffy here and there, snow-wise, especially weather-wise, right? It hasn't been snowy. It's just been kind of down.
Up and down, yeah. We got a little bit of moisture. It seemed like it snowed pretty heavily the other day, and then it all melted away. And yesterday it was sunny and clear, and today it snows back, and this weekend's going to be great. But with this changing weather, of course, comes allergy season, which is a lot of people's most dreaded time of the year. I know it can kick my butt a lot of the time, and you never know kind of when it's going to hit or what's going to cause it or how long it's going to last. But in South Dakota, allergy season typically begins in late February, peaks April to June, and ends after the first frost. So we have a while to go with allergy season. I know mine really only affect me right here at the beginning of spring, which is when, all of the trees are blooming, flowers are blooming, grass is coming to fruition. So like a lot of stuff is kind of changing in the air right now, especially when the weather is also changing. So some common allergens, some things that might kind of trigger these are trees like oaks, elms, birches and maples, grasses, bluegrass, Timothy Johnson, rye, redtop, Bermuda, highly allergenic grasses, and weeds, which is what gets me because my backyard is unfortunately full of them, is ragweed, lamb's quarters, Russian thistle, pigweed, marsh elder, and nettle. Those are common ones, and of course mold can cause allergies year round.
It probably doesn't help that you have to rip out those weeds in order for your lawn or your garden to look good.
Well, we don't even have any grass in our backyard, so it's kind of a mess.
Wait, you just start working on it as long as you go do that.
This year, yeah, it's a big one. It's a big
one. At least for me, it's just pollen. It's pollen and cats, which is thing. So it's a year-round allergy season for me at home because I have a cat. But other than that, pollen-wise, yes, it's also very much big allergy season here.
Yeah,
we're hearing some sounds here.
Yeah, something's going on here. Yeah,
so allergy season's going to start coming. All that pollen's like, phew.
Some symptoms of allergies include a stuffy or runny nose, itchy, watery or red eyes, congestion, coughing, headaches, sneezing, brain fog, painful sinuses, scratchy throat, or rash or hives. Do you experience any of those?
Yes, I do. Especially when it comes to pollen. Usually, it starts with a little tingle in my nose, and then all day I'm just.
I know, yeah. I feel like throughout the whole show, you can just kind of hear me sniffling, and sometimes my eyes start to water so bad I can barely read the prompter. So yeah, I definitely am feeling some of those. Also, I can get a hive sometimes, kind of depending on the temperature outside, actually.
Yeah, I don't get much hives. I know that that's a bigger thing with the cat, especially whenever it scratches me. I just start breaking out in that area. Aside from that, though, thankfully, I'm one of the few people, or one of the majority of people, I think, don't really have those allergies during the spring. But I'm thankful that it's only pollen. What kind of pollen, I'm not sure. I just know that it's pollen, and whenever spring and summer rolls around, I have to be careful where I go, or if I do plan on going hiking, then I have to take some allergy meds prior to that hike and whatnot. We're going to be talking about some hiking safety tips later in the show. Little accidental tease.
Well, you were talking about taking some medicine, which is a great way to reduce allergies. Some other ways is to monitor the pollen count outside. Make sure to check. You can check our First Alert weather app if there are any sensitive air conditions in the air. You can check your indoor humidity levels, eliminate chemicals in your air, change out your air filter every day, and also take a hot shower, get rid of all that dirt on you. Along
with that, this City Rapid City, I believe, has like an air quality index as well. So if you can't find it on our website, 100% find it on the Rapid City website, and they have the air quality index there too. But another thing that can kind of help, and I kind of read into this a little bit more after our conversation about allergies, tea can actually help with allergies too, kind of help calm that inflammation down that you feel in your nose, that kind of congestion of during allergy season, which is really cool because I know that personally I'm a big tea drinker. I don't know about you. I like both tea and coffee, but I kind of lean a little bit more to my kind of Earl Grey, you know, heavily caffeinated teas. Green tea is another one of my favorite ones, and that's actually, you know, shown to be one of the more healthier ones out there. Are you a big tea drinker?
I do love drinking tea, especially when I have a stuffy nose or maybe a headache. It always is willing to calm me down, or sometimes when I'm having trouble sleeping, those sleepy time teas also kind of give me a nice relaxing way to slow my evening down, and it's kind of like almost like a sweet treat if you're kind of looking for something to that's not super bad for you. So,
and before we even get into kind of the tea talk, are you more of a green tea, oolong, black tea?
Black tea, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair, because you know, and that's a good one too. But you know, kind of looking more on the green tea, the National Library of Medicine, you know, they kind of showed that green tea has shown to have beneficial effects against a variety of diseases such as cancer, obesity, diabetes. There's even shown that it kind of improves your cardiovascular system and kind of helps with neurodivergent diseases as well, which is really cool. I didn't know about that until I read more into the green tea aspect of it. It was crazy to see how it helps, even if it's just a little by little, cup per cup, right?
Yeah.
But there are some really cool improvements there. According to another study, except this time it's by MDPI in South Korea, if you're a frequent green tea drinker, you're 21% less likely to develop depression over a lifetime. Helps with mental health too. I know every time I know it's probably not that massive an effect, but whenever I do drink like a cup of green tea, I tend to be a little happier. I don't know if you've ever get that little boost in your system.
Yeah, it's definitely a way to relax and kind of calm your nervous system down. And anxieties can be running high, and you'll definitely want to steer towards decaffeinated tea if you're up there on the anxious side and you want to relax. But like I said, you know, sleepy time tea. But speaking of regulating our nervous system ahead of some huge changes coming our way in daylight saving time.
This Sunday. Oh man, I'm gonna miss that hour that we're gonna.
I know. I'm dreading it, especially because we have to wake up so early in the morning. It's definitely noticeable. That's for sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. That loss of an hour is going to take a toll on your body. It's going to take a toll on your mental health specifically, because you know, as much as you're like, oh, it's just an hour I'm going to be losing, it's actually very important, because a lot of the time you get into this rhythm, circadian rhythm of doing stuff an hour before or an hour prior to going to bed. Well, guess what? Now you're going to do it technically you're going to be doing it 2 hours before you go to bed, because of that hour of sleep, which means you're going to be sleeping a little bit earlier.
Right, it really throws off your schedule.
Yes,
like if you're like me, like I kind of have a really strict set schedule, especially during the week when we do have to go to bed so early, and this will, I'm already mentally preparing for this to throw me off a little bit. So you can give me some tips on, you know, how to prepare for daylight savings?
Yeah, so kind of before your, you know, bedtime begins, you should probably get like 15 or 20 minutes earlier, you know, kind of maybe start prepping for bed earlier, maybe start, you know, if you're planning to have dinner, right? Have dinner an hour earlier. That also helps you get into that rhythm, kind of help your body set into kind of that rhythm of the new time change. Exercise earlier, go to bed earlier. You know, if you're going to have those late night snacks, probably avoid doing that for the first couple of weeks, and also, you know, then afterward, it's up to you whether or not you want to continue doing those late night snacks. But you know, it is kind of a good way to kind of help reset your internal clock. Doing stuff a little bit earlier throughout these next 2 days might help you out a little bit more. Plus, I know we talked about this before. If you do have, you know, an alarm clock, if you do have your phone used as an alarm clock, maybe try to shift. This is a good time to shift from that phone alarm clock to a regular alarm clock, so that way you're not also having to be tempted by that doom scrolling at night, or kind of that usage of your phone at night. That also definitely helps with, and will help with, your adjustment to daylight saving time. And just some little facts here and there for daylight saving time. It is shown by the American Heart Association that the day after, so the Monday, does tend to have an uptick in heart attacks and also an uptick in stroke. So also keep an eye on your health. You know, if you do tend to see some of these symptoms come up, go to your primary health care provider to get help as soon as you can.
Yeah,
but talking a little bit about some healthy stuff, let's end it with, you know, some weekend weather, some nice Black Hills hiking. You know, it's going to be nice, and at least we hope it's going to be. Fingers crossed. It's going to be nice.
Yes. Hopefully that nice weather comes in strong, and everybody is preparing to hit the trails this weekend. And if you are, whether you have allergies or you're trying to tire yourself out before losing that hour of sleep, you'll want to hike safely in the Black Hills. That's for sure. It can be a little unpredictable during this time of year with the weather kind of going back and forth. You never know if things are going to be too muddy or frozen over, so you want to make sure to keep your eye out for that before you leave your house. There are things you can do, including double checking your backpack for those 10 essential items and other supplies. Make sure someone you know knows where you're going, when you're going to be back, when you left, the general area that you're going to be in, and stick to your plan. If you, see a trail that you kind of want to veer off, maybe send a text before you head out of service that you want to kind of try something new so people know where you are. Be prepared for that sudden change in weather. Like today specifically, there's no snow right now. Might be a good time to take a hike, but later this afternoon, snow is going to hit us hard and fast in some parts of the Black Hills, so you want to be prepared for that. Make sure to check in with a ranger station about any restrictions or conditions before you head out on that trail you want to hike.
Yes, and along with making sure that you tell somebody where you're going, maybe have them text you. Maybe like, hey, can you text me this is when I'm planning to come back. Can you text me after that or call me after that to make sure that I'm okay. And I think that if you do plan on going out, please be prepared. Especially be prepared for the weather that you're going to be hiking in. It's a little chilly. Maybe bring an extra layer in case you get a little bit colder on the trail. Or if it's going to be muddy, maybe bring that extra pair of socks. So that way, in case one of them gets wet, you still have an extra pair to wear.
And plan ahead. Of course, the Black Hills can be kind of hard to reach sometimes if you get stuck in an emergency situation. So maybe even have like a radio phone or something like that if you're going out into those extra remote areas. Some ways to prepare is to get in shape. If you're worried, if you're going on a 6-mile hike and that's the first hike you've ever done, you might want to scale it back a little bit, maybe try only a 2-mile hike so you don't get too tired and get stuck. Plan your itinerary, study where you're going, study the trails, see how they change and look for closures.
Yeah, that's a good one, because when I first moved out here, I just went on a trail. Surprise, surprise, that trail was, I believe, I want to say it was like 6 to 8 miles long, and I wasn't expecting me to go on that trail for that long. And after that, I was not ready for that. I wasn't prepared for that, and I to this day I kind of regret it. But it is, again, prepare ahead of time. If I would have known these tips, I would have 100% done that. Also, another important one: don't travel alone, or avoid trying to travel alone too, especially if you're going on a long hike. Again, it's unpredictable. Sometimes you can get injured, and at that point, you have that person next to you to kind of help you get that help. And if you're alone, you unfortunately can't get that help if you do end up getting injured on a trail. So don't travel alone.
And something else to look out for too is kind of altitude sickness, which can creep up on you really fast. The change in altitude kind of happening rapidly will make you both more dehydrated and hungrier quicker than you normally would. So make sure that you're packing extra water, extra food. Some other things that you should make sure to carry are the warm clothing and rain gear, an emergency blanket, one of those ones that are reflective. So if you get lost, they can kind of spot you easier from the air. A first aid kit, a headlamp and extra batteries, sunscreen and a hat, sunglasses, and of course a map and a compass. Make sure you know where you are and to keep track of where you've been.
Yes, and I think, I believe we've covered about everything that we could, to kind of recommend our viewers to be safe out there if they do want to enjoy the Black Hills this weekend, especially with the projected weather as of right now. So please be safe out there. If you do end up going out, be prepared. But other than that, the most important one is enjoy your weekend, enjoy the weather.
Yeah, looks like there's lots to prepare for. Allergy season, hiking season, daylight saving time. So this weekend should be a big one for all three of those things.
It should be a busy one.
And looks like you should enjoy a nice cup of tea to relax yourself ahead of time.
Exactly. Well, with those are our topics for today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for your weekend weather outlook, and then next week on Monday for your work week weather outlook. But for now, I'm Humberto de Sanchez.
And I'm Kate Robinson.
See ya.